Welcome, I'm Esther Buerki, the author of Living Without Fear and the co-publisher of the Amazon best-selling Inspired Journeys. Get in touch with me if you want to start living without fear. And please share this podcast with a friend who you know needs to hear this episode. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, write a short review, and rate it on your favorite podcast platform with a lot of stars if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your support. This truly means a lot to me. And today, I'd like to dedicate this episode to our younger self, who has been hurt so many times. This younger self who didn't feel seen, heard, and understood, and still doesn't even today. We can recognize this when we feel again pain in our daily life. Why do I come up again with this topic? I ask myself, why did it take me so many years to accept myself, how I am, with all my weaknesses? Why couldn't I flip the switch much earlier in my life? I know asking this question, why it didn't happen earlier, doesn't make sense. It doesn't bring me any further. So please don't ask yourself this question. But what I want with this episode is to help you find the switch earlier so you can have a better life at an earlier stage. I was very eager to learn more about myself, and I have started very early in my puberty and in high school to read books about self-love. I strongly felt that there was something off with myself because I lacked so much self-confidence compared to my classmates, and I felt I didn't belong to any of their groups in our class. I read the book of the philosopher Martin Buber, I and Thou, and I tried to follow his advice to find more love for myself because I didn't like myself at all. I found everybody else was so much more lovable, interesting, and beautiful. I also tried the self-help book by Thomas Anthony Harris, an American psychiatrist. I'm okay, you're okay. I tried so hard to find myself okay, or more than okay. But I failed on the long run. A friend of mine who started studying psychology convinced me that therapy would help me to get along better with myself. And it did. It helped me a lot. I always say, without my therapists and psychoanalysts, I would not be here anymore in this world. But did all those therapies help me to love myself more over time? They always helped for a certain period, but without therapy, I started again disliking myself. And what I realize now, what destroyed myself the most was this constant negative self-talk. Maybe you are also this person who is often in their head talking to yourself and not being good at feeling into your body. That's exactly how I was, and I'm still if I don't stop the negative voices in my head. And only a few years ago, I found the switch. I remember this moment so vividly. It was on a Monday, and I always have an evening rehearsal with my orchestra I play the violin with. I went there and stood at the heavy door to the building and saw one colleague entering with her instrument and not paying attention to me at all, as if she wouldn't know me for over 15 years. She didn't stop to wait a few seconds and hold the door open for me. No, she would enter as if I did not exist. In my earlier life, I always blamed myself if other people did not see me. I always thought something was wrong with me. I'm the reason why they don't treat me nicely. But that particular Monday, I didn't blame myself anymore. I told myself how amazing I was. And this colleague's reaction didn't have anything to do with myself, but only with her. That has been a pivotal moment in my life. And when I kept on paying attention to what I was telling myself in my head, I discovered how I was constantly putting myself down in my daily life if something did not go as I would have expected, such as the example with the colleague from my orchestra. When I could stop this negative self-talk, I realized how much better I felt about myself. And I kept on doing this work. And I still do, because there's no other solution or medication than to be aware of how I treat myself. If you haven't read my book, Living Without Fear, you will find more details there about my negative self-talk. And since then, I can also recognize this in other people. When I see a person for the first time, or when I see this person regularly, I can see it in their face, how they treat themselves. This self-hatred is so obvious to recognize in facial features. And it makes me feel sorry for this person if I see their self-hatred. We all are born to experience love. As babies and little children, we feel connected to our body in a positive way. We don't ask ourselves yet, am I good enough? Do I deserve love? No, we play around and don't worry yet. And only recently, I realized that it had started very early at school, in my first school year, that I heard from my parents and my teacher, I'm not like the other children. I'm not intelligent, and that it wasn't clear if I will make it to learn at all something in life. My drama of not being good or good enough had started very early. Think of it. Maybe your drama also began long time ago. But please, this is not the end. You can start today to tell you positive things. That you are smart, that you're absolutely beautiful the way you are today, and that you deserve being loved by all the people around you. And if you lack of the self-confidence, if you think you're not good enough to be this positive person for yourself, you have to make this decision today. You don't want to listen anymore to those negative voices around you or in your head, because you are the only person who can stop the negative self-talk. Nobody else can do it for you, not your loved ones or not your therapist. And it's this work you have to start on your own, now and every day, again and again. And I'm not different than you. I need to do it as well. But I can assure you, it gets better and better by time. And I have an idea. When it is too hard for you at the moment to see yourself through a positive lens, go to someone who you think loves you and ask this person, what do you think is lovable in me? Can you give me 2 or 3 things you love? Then take these things and imagine seeing yourself through this lens and feel how beautiful you are. You may not feel it in the beginning, but try again and again. You will get there and you will see yourself one day as this beautiful, magnificent soul who deserves to be loved. Thank you, dear listener, for spending your precious time with me and being open to learn how to love yourself more and more. And I cannot repeat it enough. In case you feel worthless today and nobody seems to like you, I tell you, you're amazing. I love you. And you're a gift to everyone who crosses your path. And please tell yourself these sentences over and over again. Have an amazing day and talk to you next week.